So TikTok ads, many people get it wrong, and it's a huge part of a lot of businesses. But in this video, I'll be showing you a proven formula on how to make successful TikTok ads. How can you be sure that you're actually optimized on the way you're running your ads? And are you just wasting money putting ads out there that you're buying a lot of views and ultimately are not converting as well as they should be to paying customers? So, like I said, in this video, we have a lot to talk about. I've studied countless ads on TikTok to analyze exactly what works, break down what they say, when they say it, how they frame certain things, and ultimately come up with a formula on how to make a successful viral ad on TikTok. And I've noticed on TikTok in particular, the overlap between successful organic content and successful ads is really quite substantial. Now, this is stuff that many people would charge hundreds of dollars for in a course. Some people might charge you for consulting calls. Ultimately, I just want to put this in a free video. A lot of people have been asking me about it in my DMs. So I figured let's just make one huge comprehensive video, completely all free information. We're not charging for any of this. And it's something that hopefully can help your business and help you find more success on TikTok or Instagram or meta ads or whatever ads you're doing. With that being said, I want to split this into several different sections. I'm going to have them time-stamped down below, but I highly recommend you go through all of them because they add on to each other. So each section is going to be a really important preface for the following section. So I recommend taking out a piece of paper, a pen, take some notes as you follow along with this video, and hopefully this is going to be helpful. So now getting started with TikTok ads, what we want to do is go to santrelmedia.com/TikTok, or you can click the link in the top of the description, or of course you could just copy and paste that link to a new tab. It'll bring you to a page that looks something like this. Sometimes there are promotions. You might find a dollar match, maybe spend some, $30, get $50 or something like that. This does change periodically, so I recommend at least checking out the link to see if you can get any free money when you are signing up and using TikTok ads. Then you can click on Get Started, and we are going to create our account here. So for email, I'm going to type in my email and make a password, and then we want to make sure we select this box here, and then I usually deselect this one just so there are no news and other marketing things. And now we can set up our account. It wants to know what the industry is, so choose the best thing you can get. I think e-commerce is going to be probably most of the viewers of this video, and then I'm going to try to find if there's like sports and outdoor or something like that would make sense. I don't know. We could just choose, one that's somewhat relevant. Business name is going to be, let's select that right now. And then of course, enter your website and your phone number. And that brings us into our TikTok dashboard. I'm going to click on accept right here, obviously read over that. And then it brings us to essentially the whole process that we're going to be going through on how to make a TikTok ad. But we don't actually have the ad yet. So now what we want to do is go and start talking about how to create the ad. We're going to start off with a script. We're going to go into different ways you can make it if you're filming it yourself or using AI to do that. And then we are going to edit that and come back to here when we're done with that, and we can upload the actual ad. All right, so let's start off. Section 1, understanding the TikTok algorithm. I want to briefly go over what works on TikTok because, like I said, there is a lot of overlap between organic and ads, right? So on TikTok, the algorithm works like this. Ultimately, the goal of an algorithm is to serve the most interesting content, the most captivating content to the audiences out there. So how do you do that? Well, on TikTok, the feel generally is much more organic, much less overproduced. So I recommend not using, crazy stabilizers and drone footage and everything like that. A lot of times, the content that works best on TikTok is going to be content that feels like you are on FaceTime with your friend. It should be very, very simple, very kind of low level produced. It should feel a lot more organic and natural. And ultimately, that's the kind of content that works well. It also tends to be very fast paced, being such short form content. People have either a lot of cuts or at the very least, they get to the point very, very quickly. So you need to start off with a really strong, really captivating hook. It doesn't have to be a verbal hook either. This could be something that is shown on text on screen. It could be something that's moving and happening, but ultimately it needs to create a question in the viewer's mind. It needs to be something that they see that and they're like, whoa, I need to know the answer to this, and they stick around. So for example, this ad right here, I don't even know if the product's real or not, but they have a fantastic hook on here.
We scanned the rental for hidden cameras.
They said, we scanned the rental for hidden cameras. That instantly creates a question in your mind of how many rentals have I been in that had cameras? How likely is it that they'll find one? How do they find one? Where is it actually hidden? It creates a lot of questions that you need to watch to see, are they going to find a hidden camera in this Airbnb or whatever rental they have there? So summarizing the TikTok algorithm, you need to focus a lot on retention. You need to tell a story, you need to have it captivating, and you need a really good hook. It needs to feel very natural. You can't have things very overproduced. It needs to be very shareable and very interesting. A lot of times a good product just naturally does that, but you still need to tell the story of the product more so than the like technical aspects or anything like that. So moving on to section 2, the elements of a viral ad, right? We have an idea of what works well on TikTok for the algorithm in general, but what works really well for an ad? Well, the first thing that you need to really think about, as with any kind of sales, any kind of marketing, it needs to be solution and emotion oriented. This is something that a lot of people, kind of the classic example is if you're selling a diary. You can't talk about the quality of the paper. You can't talk about the dimensions of it or how well it fits in your pocket or your purse or whatever. You need to focus on what it actually does, what the solution is that's provided by a diary, or what the emotion is that you get with the diary. So maybe rather than marketing the paper quality or the specs of it, you could market the memories that are saved from your honeymoon that you saved in your diary. Or maybe you could focus more on the fear aspect of what about all the memories that you could forget? Or maybe after you pass away, somebody finds you find your grandmother's diary and you read through it, right? And when I say emotions, there's really 4 big motivators for people to buy things. You have health, you have wealth, you have happiness, and you have love or relationships. So any one of those, if you kind of focus in a little bit on that, no matter what your product is, ask which of those 4 you could really tie into, and how could you just dial that up a little bit more, right? So whatever your ad idea is right now, maybe you want to focus a little bit more on the health aspect. An example I gave in a previous video was something called the Lark bottle. It's a water bottle that has a little ultraviolet LED in the top, and rather than just saying this is great because it keeps your water clean, I wanted to focus more on the health aspect of it. So you could really focus and say there's a lot of dangerous bacteria out there. People get really sick. They don't realize that a lot of things are in their water. Or if you're traveling, you're almost guaranteed to get sick in foreign countries. And this water bottle is the solution, essentially keeping you safe, keeping you healthy by disinfecting your water bottle every 10 minutes. And I think you can understand just from that example right there that focusing on your health is so much more impactful than talking just about the specs of the product. So remember that health, wealth, happiness, and love or relationships, all 4 of those are going to be very significant motivators for somebody to actually purchase something. So I promise we'll get into the formula for what you have to say sentence by sentence for a TikTok ad, but the first sentence is going to be your hook. So element 3 of a viral TikTok ad or a successful TikTok ad is going to be a very, very strong hook. As I mentioned before, it doesn't even have to be a verbal hook. It could be on screen with text. It could be something that just essentially is a non-verbal hook, but going with the verbal ones, there are a lot of good options out there. I'll have some listed in the description down below, but some that I like to go with a lot ultimately would be anything that creates an information gap. That's the whole purpose of the hook here. So an example would be, I can't believe more people aren't talking about this, or I'm always so surprised that most people don't know about this when they're traveling, or did you know whatever, right? So ultimately, in the beginning, you're establishing that you know something that they don't, and you're going to share it in the TikTok. That is really the most fundamental hook. All right, so for this ad, let's just say we're going to talk about like a golf simulator, right? Just a Rapsodo MLM2 Pro. It's a product I like. I bought one this summer. It was fun, but let's see how we can make this ad. So the first sentence you want to have, this is going to be your hook. In essence, you want to tell a story, but you want to create that information gap in the very, very beginning. So you could say like, this summer I shaved 15 strokes off my golf game with this one product, right? So that tells a story, right? It's a full sentence. You shaved strokes off your golf game in the summer. The information gap, when you said this is the product, it's like, all right, how did you do it? What's the product? You know something, you achieved some level of success. Tell me what it is. And then after that, you want to tell a 2-sentence story. It needs to be different from the first story, but still tied into it, just now 2 sentences long. And in this one, you really want to focus more on the pain points. So before this summer, I played golf for 2 years and I never made any significant improvement. And I felt like I was always going to the range, but just not making the progress I wanted. So that's 1 sentence. And then your second sentence would be, after I made this purchase, I spent some time using this product and ultimately it made me way better at golf. My friends were really impressed. Everyone's been asking me what I do differently. So now you're deepening that information gap and you're also telling a story that really resonates with a lot of viewers with those specific pain points. Then going into, what is it, sentence number 4 through 8, you want to tell a 4-sentence story here. But generally you want to tell a slightly longer story here that presents the solution to the problem. So here you could say, ultimately, what I ended up doing was I purchased this product right here, the MLM2 Pro. And rather than driving 20 minutes to the range, spending an hour there, spending $10 a day there, and then driving back, and then like I'm late for dinner, my wife doesn't like that. Instead, I bought this product here. I set it up in my garage, and then every day I would go down there after dinner for 20 minutes, no setup or anything, swing my golf club a bunch of times, and rather than just randomly swinging and not really practicing anything in particular, I was able to play back every single swing and see videos of exactly what I did wrong with my swing, and even zooming in on the actual club head itself. And on top of that, rather than just swinging and using it like a rangefinder to estimate how far I went, I can actually play specific courses and learn how to play smarter golf and manage different clubs, figure out what my distances were, and ultimately, it was the biggest game changer. Going out and playing a game of golf now is just so much better. So there you told the story of the product now. This is offering the solution, why you like the product. And again, notice that I'm not talking about the accuracy of the product. I'm not talking about, oh, it has these lasers and these sensors and it's going to be within like 1 degree of angle of where you actually hit it. Instead, you're talking about it has a camera and it shows me what I'm doing wrong. So the me aspect is really what matters there. And then the very last sentence you want to add is going to be your call to action. And the best thing is I found this on TikTok Shop and they're running a promotion right now. So if you want to fix your golf game, I would buy one. If you click the link below and enter code Mike, you'll get $50 off. So that's not a perfect ad. I would definitely iterate on that. That was all off the top of my head right now, but generally that's how I would set it up. I would go with 1-sentence story, 2-sentence story, 4-sentence story, and then summary. And you want to, of course, make this within a minute. Usually, if you can get it within like 40 seconds, that would be great. So sometimes you have to trim it down to like 1 sentence, 2 sentences, or something like that. But generally, that's going to be the setup that you would want to use for a spoken ad such as that one there. So we have a pretty decent script right now. It's not perfect. I would iterate on this a little bit more, but it's enough to really get started here. I transcribed it, as you can see right here, and I did trim it down. A couple sentences were taken out to make sure it definitely fits within 1 minute. Now, as I mentioned before, there are 4 ways we can make an ad using this script. The first one, the most straightforward one, and the most cost-effective one is going to be filming yourself. Now, many people won't want to film themselves. Either they're not comfortable on camera, or they don't believe the ad will come out the way they want it to with themselves presenting, or maybe they just aren't comfortable with the equipment they have. Maybe you have an older phone and the video quality is not up to par. Now, whatever the reason is, that may be ruled out for some people. I'm not going to talk about that method too much in this video because if you are comfortable doing that, awesome, go ahead and do that. I recommend everyone at least tries it, kind of practices a little bit, and you can learn a lot from making it. And even if you don't boost it as a TikTok ad, you can always put it on TikTok and kind of experiment with different script ideas and see what performs better than other things. Maybe you want to boost them as an ad to just like put a couple dollars behind them and see how they perform. But ultimately, that's going to be the most cost effective, but not always going to be the best one for everybody out there. The second one is going to be a lot easier for anyone who doesn't want to be on camera and maybe doesn't like how their voice sounds or doesn't have the equipment to record. That is going to be using AI to do this for you. Now, trust me, I am probably the biggest skeptic that AI can make good videos, yet it's been improving a lot over the past couple years. And I'm actually pretty confident in the tool I'm going to show you in this video. Of course, like I said, this is not sponsored by any means. I've seen a ton of, trust me, I get a lot of emails every day from a ton of AI ad makers. A lot of them are total garbage. This is one that I watched. I was really impressed. I sampled a bunch of ads, still very impressed. I showed my brother, he was very impressed. And so this is like pretty well vetted for me, in my opinion, to kind of show you as a good option for you. And that is called Arc Ads. Now I have a link down in the description so you can follow along, but I'm going to copy this ad script over to here and just see what it actually comes up with. So I have an account already, but you could say log in or sign up right here. I'm going to sign in, and I'll admit the dashboard is not the best looking, but the product that it comes up with at the end, the video, really is quite impressive. So from my dashboard right here, yours might look slightly different, but you want to see something that says add another product. Now you're going to add your product, just give it the product name. We are using a product that actually exists, but I'll call it something different so we're not like using an actual company name there. So I'm going to call it the Mapsodo MLS3. You kind of get the idea of what it actually is, but just a total made up word right there. We'll say continue. You want to have your logo in there, of course, as well. And within the folders here, we can click on plus, and we are going to create new video. So click on create new videos. From here, we can paste that script in. So remember, I transcribed the script over here. I believe it was over in this tab right here, just an edit pad. Copy this. And over here, I can paste it. Now we have that right there. So we can generate some videos. We have to choose some actors though. So I'm going to click on add actors. And I recommend going through these. By the way, they keep adding tons and tons of new ones. And the newer ones, a lot of times are better than the old ones. Let me mute this. The way it works is like this. So these are actually real people. These are not AI generated people, but they sign up to be voice actors. And in essence, what the AI is doing is using their voice to just put your script in there. And it also like remaps their mouth somehow to make it look like they're actually saying what your script is, which I'm just very, very impressed. I think it's probably the best way to execute AI generated ads now. So they're not AI characters talking, which obviously means they're more real because they are real humans. And like, if you just check out any one of these, maybe this guy right here, Adam, let's see. Seems decent. Some of them are better than others, like I said. I like the one where this guy was walking. Let's see if we can find him again. This guy, Benjamin. So I'm gonna use that one right there. I like that one. And let's see if there's a couple others. So let's just say I'm going to use Benjamin. There's a couple different scenarios where he's kind of walking or talking or whatever. So I'll use the one where he's in a garage lifting. I'll use the one where he's walking, and maybe this other one right here. I can select these. I will say next. We have 3 actors. You essentially pay by credit. I have 3 credits right here, so we're ready to go. I can have each of these, read the script, we'll come up with all of them, and then what I want to do, instead of just having one long script where it's just like an AI guy talking and walking, it will become detectable that it is AI, but I think it's way less detectable if you have more B-roll on top of that, and if you kind of mash together multiple different clips. So we're going to try it like this. We're going to see how it works. I'm going to say generate videos. We have 15 credits. We need 3 for this. I'm going to say generate. All right, these are generating. I'm going to come back to these when it's done. But let's talk about the third way you can actually make ads. So if you don't want to do it yourself, if you don't want AI to do it because you want it to be a little bit more natural than that, maybe you don't want to do any editing at all, the third option is going to be literally having other people do it. And there's 2 ways to do this. The first one is going to be using something called UGC, user generated content. This is incredibly popular in 2024 and 2025. Everyone's talking about this. And it's really a great way to make ads because you're hiring people who already have the equipment, already have the experience, and already do this basically as their everyday life, like their livelihood, to make these ads like this. And yet they're doing it not through like a giant ad agency. Instead, they're doing it in a much more natural environment because a lot of these people basically are just TikTokers anyway. So they already know how to make natural content. Now, user-generated content, I want to split this into 2 subcategories. One is going to be paid UGC, which is going to be, like you can see right here, Join Brands is a popular platform. There are a ton of other ones out there, but in essence, all you do is say get started for free. We're going to sign up as a brand. I'm just going to sign up right now using my email. And there we go. Now we are on the platform. Now, in essence, what you'll do here is you'll create a campaign, or you could request demos as well. And you can just go down and shop around some different creators that you think would make a lot of sense, so to resonate here. Of course, you will have to get them the product. They'll make the full video for you. It's really easy to do, but keep in mind, this can be a little bit more expensive. So let's just say create a campaign. We could do this with images only, starting at $15. Again, we're looking for a video ad for TikTok here, although carousels can work just fine for some people. I'm going to go with videos. So videos start at $60. I think a lot of times you'll be spending a bit more than that. So let's say this is going to be content only. We'll say continue, and the campaign name is going to be Perfect Putt Video. We'll say next. And as far as the product delivery goes, we could say, are you going to send it yourself, which if you have inventory is going to be the easiest, or are you doing reimbursement? So you could say, hey, go on my website, order it. You're going to be like a verified customer then, which is 1, really beneficial if they're leaving reviews on there. And 2, it's going to be possibly easier for you not to have to, like if you're drop shipping, for example, it's going to be easier for you not to have to place the order and get their address and do that. Just reimburse them for their order. So if you want to add your first product, you can have an image right here, the price of it, and then down here, we can choose the content type. So is it going to be a how-to video where they just show how to use it? Is it going to be an unboxing video? Is it going to be a product review? Or is it going to be a product demo, for example? Also, the time of the video, do we want it to be 15 seconds, 30 seconds? Do we want it to be 3 to 5 minutes? I'm really looking for about the 1 minute mark, but I'll say 30 seconds is probably going to be, quite ideal for this. So product demo should be just fine. And then down below that, do we want subtitles? No subtitles. I would just leave subtitles off. If you ever do want to add that, you can use Capcut, as I'll show you later in the video, to just add it. It's literally 1 button and captions are automatically there. Don't spend $15 on that unless you're really trying to automate everything. And then as far as the format, definitely you want to choose portrait. And then down here, content brief, you could either paste your script there, or you could say like, hey, I want you to talk about this, and kind of break it down in the way that I showed earlier in this video. If you have references, that's also super beneficial to say like, hey, I like these other ads, make it in this style. And then you'll say next. So let me actually populate this right now before we say next. So I added the product in there, and you'll see on the right side, this shows you the cost per product. So obviously, if you are sending them the product, which you do need to do for these videos, it's going to cost you whatever the product costs. So you added that up top. $550 is the price I made up for this, as well as $18 for the video duration, $60 for the video, and then $10 for shipping. You're looking at about $628 per job. Doing 5 jobs here, you're going to be spending about $3,600 for 5 videos. So that is definitely not cheap. Most of that cost is obviously in the product itself. If you're selling a cheaper product, then that would be significantly less. So let's just say the product here is maybe like $10, just so you can kind of get a better idea, not like a giant scary number there. $10, and say save, and then say shipping is going to be like $2 or something, and just kind of, you'll see $445. So you're still spending a lot of money, even on a cheaper product, to get 5 ads made, but you're looking at about, what is that, $60 for the video, so $78 per one that is created, which again is very, very cheap, but these are 30-second ads. I've seen a lot out there that are in the hundreds of dollars, so let's see what we actually get out of this. So then you'll finally add your credit card information, your payment information. You'll say create, and you'll follow through, and you'll have your jobs made through there. Now, this is a method, again, just one of the many platforms for UGC. I'll have some other ones linked down below. But another option out there is, if you already do have customers, you can use the people who already purchased the product from you. You don't have to reimburse people. You can get people who already purchased it from you and start to kind of collect some content from them, and possibly offer to reimburse them on some things, or send them promotions, or whatever it might be. And a good platform for that is called Most. That one links to Shopify. So if you go to the link down below, or just go to most.io, you can say get started for free. It'll link over to your Shopify store. I already have a Shopify store logged in here. So for me, it says open. Otherwise, it might say install, and you can add that to your Shopify store. But if I just say open, that'll bring me over to the Shopify app. This is all running within Shopify. And as you can see here, you customize your email template. You send emails out to existing customers, either new customers as they show up, or previous customers in the past, and you start collecting content from them. It's going to be much more organic. People already do post reviews on Amazon, for example. So that kind of thing here, if you're incentivizing people to make that for you, that could be really, really beneficial, where maybe you say, hey, I'll send you another product, like a second product, for free if you send me an ad, or not an ad, but just like anything of you unboxing it or you talking about it. Something that is very, very organic could be very useful in, one, obviously reducing your returns so people can see other consumers using the product. They get more answers that maybe you didn't think about. Maybe it's like just a 360 video of the product, and they can see how it's used and things like that. That kind of stuff does really well. Obviously, Amazon still uses it every single day, so we could take notes from that. Of course, on top of that, it should be increasing sales, lend your brand a little bit more of a reputation, which is nice. And ultimately, you could potentially, work out some deals with those customers where you're allowed to promote that and run that as a TikTok ad. So then finally, the fourth way you can actually promote or create this ad is going to be using other actual creators. So what I would do for this is go to YouTube. You can also do this on TikTok, but I'll show you how to do it on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and just look up golf, or maybe something more specific, golf simulator or something like that, you can scroll down and you want to find channels that are going to be a little bit smaller. So Good is like a gigantic channel, but maybe like Golf Sidekick, let's check out his channel. 302,000 subscribers. So definitely a very sizable account, but not going to be like a gigantic, mega influencer. This is somebody that may be interesting to us. When we're getting started out, if you're looking for more affordable content though, you might want to go for somebody with a much smaller, maybe 2,000 to 3,000 subscribers, or somebody who's just getting started out, but still making good content. Now, whatever channel you find, browse around, find good channels, then you want to click on more on their channel page. Typically, as you scroll down, you'll see view email address. A lot of people have a business inbound email there. You can click on view email address. I'm going to blur it out on this video, obviously, so I'm not just like doxing this person, but you can go and find this for a lot of creators out there, highlight that email address, and then just go and send them an email and say, hey, look, I'm interested in working with you. I would love to sponsor a video. And you can kind of work out a deal where either you sponsor a video on their channel and make sure that you get the licensing rights for that, so you can run that as an ad. Or maybe if it's cheaper, if you don't want to do that, you could also just get the licensing rights for a video that they ultimately never even publish. It's something that I've done in the past on my channel as well, where you make a video for a brand, they're allowed to run that as an ad, but I never actually have to post that on my channel. It's something that, again, a lot of creators do it either way. The benefit, of course, if it does get posted on their account, is that, of course, you get exposure to a lot of potential customers who are already interested and already know this person. So you might have a lot more leverage going through their account like that. All right, so now that we have the 4 methods pretty well understood, the method that I'll be using for this video is the Arc Ads one, just using the AI just to kind of see what we're able to do with that one. I think it's the most approachable for most people. It's going to be very cost effective. It's also going to be something that you can really iterate quickly. You can go and change the script, and within maybe like 20 or 30 minutes, this one was in with like a couple minutes, you get that version of the video back and ready to go. So what we want to do now, I'm still waiting for these other 2 to be created, but we want to download a free software here. This is called Capcut. So if you just look up Capcut, capcut.com is where you can find it. You'll say download, it'll download it, and we can install this software. All right, so I have some B-roll clips right here. I have Capcut downloaded. I have the Arc Ads videos right here. I downloaded them. So now we're just gonna go open up Capcut. This is gonna be a quick little segment showing kind of the basics of editing. This is a free tool to use, so I recommend a lot of people who are making ads use this. Capcut is owned by the same company that owns TikTok, ByteDance. So no surprise, a lot of the tools here are going to be very optimized for TikTok, and they may be very familiar as well. So within Capcut, I'm going to click on Create Project on the top. And then from here, we can click on Import. I'll try to go kind of slow as well so you can follow along. Now I'm going to go over to, I have TikTok ads right here. And if you're doing this on Windows, there won't be a whole lot that's different, but I just want to make sure I am on the same folder here. So here we have all the files I want to import. I'm going to click Import, and you'll see they are all right here. So now down here, this is our timeline. Over here is going to be the player, essentially showing us what the ad looks like at any given time. These may be a slightly different speed of talking as well. You can see 1 minute, 1 second versus 56 seconds on this one. And I think I probably want to start off with this one right here. So I'm going to click on this. You can click the plus, or you can just click and drag it down into your timeline right here. And it looks like that is a weird aspect ratio. So a weird scale rather. So make sure, oh, it actually just jumped right to the full scale there. We should be good. So right about there, that looks like the proper scale to me. And then we can start adding some B-roll on top of that. So I'm going to click and drag this down, and I want to drop it right above. So you drop it right there, and it says, all right, multiple audio tracks. We're going to get rid of the audio track on this one. So we're going to right click on this. Then we can say extract audio. That'll be down here, and just click on audio and delete that. So now we just have, this is going to just be B-roll now. We can move it left, right in the timeline, and you'll see this little bar right here. This is our timeline. So the video, as you play through, goes this way. We put it right around maybe like the 10-second mark, I would say. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, so I show the product right there. Let's see what this sounds like right now.
This summer, I shaved 15 strokes off my golf game with...
And then let's say this right here. We'll do the same thing. We'll right click. We'll say separate audio. No, sorry. We will say extract audio. Go down here and delete that.
This one product. Before this, I played...
So I'll move that away. Drag it down so it's a little bit shorter, and I'll bring this down into the second track there. So from the beginning.
This summer, I shaved 15 strokes off my golf game with this one product.
All right, so that's a good start right there. Let's say that is going to be essentially the first sentence. That's the hook right there. Now if we zoom in, so right here you see the little zoom button. If I click zoom in, we can kind of zoom in to expand the timeline right here. So now we're looking at from 0 to the first 40 seconds. We can even go a little bit more than that. We can go 0 to the first 20 seconds or so. Okay, so let's see what it looks like. All right, so that's where I want to cut it right there. And we want to switch over to the second B-roll. Maybe that would be a good time to switch over. So from here, you'll see a little split button right there. Split, we'll say split. And from here, I want to drop in maybe the second clip right here. So we can drag this one down and put it right there.
This summer, I shaved 15 strokes off my golf game with this one product.
So here, I want to split this one, split it right there, and then click on this, click delete. And so now these two should flow within the same script. The audio is going to be different, which is expected, but for something like this, that might make it feel a little bit more natural and a little bit more like a mashup of multiple different viewers or users who purchased this product. So let's try this out right now, see what it sounds like.
Product.
Before this, I played golf for 2 years and struggled to improve at all. Ultimately, what I ended up doing was purchasing the...
All right, so now he's going to talk about what he's purchasing. So we can click and drag the more B-roll right here, put it right there. No more reminders for that. I'm going to right click it. I think you remember what we're doing now. We're going to extract the audio. We're going to delete that audio, and now more B-roll right here.
M2 Pro. I set it up in my garage
And then let's get this right here, some more B-roll. Now I'm just going to edit a little bit of this, not waste too much of your time with this segment, but you get the idea of how the editing tools really work here. All right, so now we have the video pretty much edited. This is the first version here. It's not perfect. Of course, I would iterate on this a lot, but just as like a general demonstration of how I might make an ad like this, this is how it's going to look. Let's just play it back right here. You'll see how I kind of stitch it together. And again, this is just the first version, so let me know what you think.
This summer, I shaved 15 strokes off my golf game with this one product.
Before this, I played golf for 2 years and struggled to improve at all. Ultimately, what I ended up doing was purchasing the Rapsodo MLM2 Pro. I set it up in my garage and just practiced at home for 20 minutes a day, and it is way more effective.
Instead of just swinging a bunch and hoping to improve, I could actually play back every swing and determine what happened using the swing playback and the zoomed in ultra slow-mo impact vision. And it was more fun than a range because I could use this in simulator mode to play all the local golf courses from my garage.
Now I know my club distances, I fixed my swing, and I play smarter golf at the course. And the best thing is I found this on TikTok Shop, and they are running a promotion right until this weekend. So if you want to fix your golf game, I would buy one. If you click the link below and enter code Mike, you get $50 off.
All right, so once you're done, on the top right, you can click on export. We can name the file. So this is going to be TikTok ad 1, and then I usually add an underscore and then the name of the product. So we're going to call it Mapsodo. And we can choose where we're exporting it to, choose the folder. And then as far as the resolution, the bitrate, all of that, I'm not going to change any of that. I think that's all quite good. And so we can export that right now. But I want to show you another tool. It's kind of a second version that we are going to export this. This one's going to be with captions. If you wanted to, say cancel right here. Now, if we wanted to add captions, it's really quite easy to do, especially on mobile. But if we go over to text, we can say auto captions right here. And we can choose generate. It'll generate the captions, and this does it again for free. We have 5 uses here. On mobile, I don't think it actually limits you to 5, but on desktop, it seems to do that unless you upgrade to Pro. And who knows, if this works very well for you, maybe eventually you will upgrade to Pro. I'm just using the free version here, and that usually works quite well for me. So you'll see the captions right here. If I click on them, they pop up right there. We can change how they look. So if you click on them, so like on the right side, you can change the color. You could change, if you wanted to change the font size, make it bold, make it not bold, different things like that. And if you change one of them, it should change all of them. But let's leave it like that for now. Just, fairly subtle. And you can see this automatically is based on, what was said. It transcribes the entire video. So we could export this as a second version if we wanted to. So you can click on export and get the second version like that. All right, so back to the TikTok Ads Manager. I'm going to say accept. You should be on this page right here. If not, of course, just go to santrelmedia.com/TikTok, enter your information. You'll end up on something like this. Now, there are 3 tiers to an ad on TikTok. The first one is your campaign. You can look at this as like a pyramid. The very top, you have your campaign. Underneath the campaign, you'll have multiple ad groups, and within each ad group, you'll have multiple ads. I'll explain what each of those are as we go through them, but the highest level of the campaign is generally going to be for this product. For a smaller store, that's usually the way I would set it up. So for this campaign, we can decide what our objective is. I'm going to be saying website conversions because we do have a Shopify store. I want to connect the Shopify store, and I want to really make sure that every ad is optimized for the best conversions on this site right here. But there are other options as well. If you're making an ad for the purpose of reaching more people, maybe that is like a political campaign, for example. If you're looking for traffic or video views, kind of similar to like fundraisers and campaigns as well, would make sense there. Maybe you're looking for community interaction, trying to like sign petitions or something like that. Or maybe you're trying to promote an app. You're trying to generate leads for a small business, or of course product sales if you have your product on TikTok Shop, which is actually very easy to do if you have a Shopify store. However, for our Shopify store, I'm going to be going with website conversions. So over on Shopify, you can also do this on many other platforms out there. This is not essential that you have Shopify, but I will be demonstrating it with Shopify. We can go down to Add Apps. Now within Add Apps, you'll see there are a lot to choose from. I'm going to click on Shopify App Store and we're going to search for TikTok. So I'm going to type in TikTok. It's also right there, but we're going to type it in anyway. TikTok, we'll find TikTok and we can say install. This is adding it to our Shopify store. And the reason we're doing this is because we want to set up what's called a TikTok pixel. So let's click on install as I continue to explain this. A TikTok pixel tracks the activity on your website and kind of uses that information to optimize the ads. So for example, if somebody goes to, clicks on the ad, they go to your site and they don't make a purchase, but then somebody else, clicks the ad and then, goes to your site, makes a purchase, that feedback is going to tell TikTok's algorithm, hey, show the ad more to, person B and less to person A, because it's more effective with that second demographic there, whoever whatever their interests are, any similar audiences like that. So here, once we added the TikTok channel, the TikTok app to Shopify here, first I like clicking the little pin button there so it's easier to find in the future. It'll just be right in your sales channels here. And we have two options. One is going to be selling on TikTok. That's another video. I made a video on that actually already, the TikTok shop, and that's a very useful feature, but kind of out of the scope of this video here. We want to set up TikTok ads. So I'll say set up now. And this should really walk us through pretty much everything. They make it very seamless here, as long as you're signed into both your Shopify account and your TikTok account in the same browser. So I'll say connect. It's going to connect the TikTok account, hopefully the one that is already signed in right here. As you can see right there, it already populated it. It knows our user number. We can confirm that over here on TikTok if you wanted to. You can see that big user ID right there. I'll say connect. And then we can click connect again, make sure that the Santrel Golf product shop, that's the name of the store right here. So that is correct. And then data sharing, there are several options we have for data sharing. So again, this is how much of the data is actually being tracked by that pixel. I recommend just leaving that on maximum. I will say confirm. And then last year we have to enter our company information, just generally like, address and name of company and stuff like that. So I'll say set up. We'll say confirm. Shopify already has that information, so it should automatically populate that. And then we can say finish setup. So now we have that. It's pending account review, so that may take a minute for that to actually populate and be ready to go. But we can always just refresh this. It really should not take very long at all. Now back to the TikTok Ads Manager. I'm going to click on Website Conversions. We'll scroll down. We can name this campaign. So I'm going to call this one Maps. So I'm going to call this Golf Simulator Golf Launch Monitor campaign 1. Any ad categories, this is not housing, this is not credit, this is not employment, so I don't have to declare anything specific there. We can create split tests. I'm not doing that right now. We could do CBO, campaign budget optimization, which is going to essentially allocate budget, with different bidding strategies throughout different ad groups, just to optimize everything overall at the highest level. A lot of AI built into that. I'm not going to be doing CBO in this because I do want to do some hands-on testing, and I'll show you that in a minute. And we could also set an overall campaign budget. Sometimes I do that just as like a fail-safe in case I accidentally set the wrong budgets on the lower level. So maybe let's say I want to spend no more than maybe like $300 a day for this business, just like a maximum fail-safe, never get more than that. Now we can say continue, and the second level down. So remember I said level 1, the highest level is the campaign. Below that you have ad groups. So we're going to make our first ad group right here. The ad group usually is going to be who you're marketing to, who is the audience here. And you can see on the top, it shows us the available audience. It's very, very broad right now. But if you scroll down, and we'll edit this stuff in a second, but I just want to kind of demonstrate this. If you scroll down and say, hey, we only want people who are, maybe 35 to 44, you'll see that the available audience decreases, pretty substantially right there. So I'll reselect those, and we'll be, we'll kind of play around with this in just a minute. But going back up to the top, let's choose a name for this ad group. I'm going to call this one US Primary, and this is going to be audience 1. And then down here, you'll see we should be able to connect our account right here. Our Shopify account should be very easy to connect. So now if you did everything correctly, you should see data connection right here. And below that, you should see your TikTok pixel. So just click on that, make sure that's showing up right there. If you don't see it, you may instead see a little box that says connect your pixel. And if you just click through that, you should be able to connect your Shopify very easily. But as long as we have the app installed on Shopify over here, and we added the TikTok ads one specifically, it should automatically populate the pixel. Now, below that, you see optimization event. If we click on the dropdown, the one that we really want to optimize for is going to be complete payment. Now, I believe because I didn't set up Shopify payments on this little sample store over here, it's not allowing me to do that. So on your Shopify store, it should say complete payment. That should be a regular black option. I'm just going to stick with add to cart for now because that is what is already selected. But that is essentially what you would want to optimize for right there. Scrolling down, we can have automatic placement or manual placement. I'm going to leave this on automatic placement, but I do want to click the little advanced setting dropdown and change a couple things here. So I do not want to allow video download. I don't want other people to download this video, start selling the exact same product, and then use my exact ad for their product. So I'm going to disable allow download video, but I will allow sharing of the video. I think that's actually quite beneficial for us and for our product, gaining some more awareness right there. We allow comments, that's fine. And I don't actually need to do a pay-angle block list, so I will leave it exactly like that. Scrolling down here, you can choose a little bit more about the optimization or really essentially the audience you're going after. I really think TikTok does a great job of this on their own. So there's not a whole lot you'll really need to do here, but if you wanted to kind of get on the right track, or if you know that for a fact this campaign is specifically marketing to male or female audiences, you could easily select that down here. And you'll see on the top right, your available audience will become less and less broad as you start narrowing this down. So you might want to say high spending power females. You can see that's pretty balanced. That's going to be a good audience to go after. If you have it too broad, it'll tell you. So if I say all and all, it should go up here and it'll probably say like very, very broad or fairly broad. And that's not necessarily what we'd want. So let's just stick for now with, I don't know, male, or just say all genders, high spending power. You can actually estimate the household incomes as well and say, hey, maybe top 5% of zip codes in the US or something like that. And then down here, you can choose other things about interests that you want to include or exclude for your audience. So again, if you're doing like political ads, this would be a really great way to target a very specific group of people that are maybe interested in one thing or maybe not interested in something else. Down here, we have our daily budget. So I'm going to, let's just say we're going to set this for $100 right now. The start time and running continuously looks good. We can choose day parting. So if you want to have specific times in the day, so maybe it's not running at night, or maybe it is only running at night, you can just select the boxes right here for when that is in fact running. But I'm just going to say all day for now. And then bidding and optimization, I'm going to leave that as it is right now. As you start to get more ads, you will want to have a target CPA. You can really dial this in and kind of aim for a certain thing once you start, really ramping up your ads and your ad spend here. But now I'm going to say continue. And finally, we get to the third tier, which is going to be the ad. So the ad specifically is going to be pretty much exactly what you think. It's the video that is being run as an ad, this one specifically. So I'm not using Spark Ads. Spark Ads essentially use content that's already published on TikTok, and you can promote it that way. But we are publishing our own new video that we're uploading right here. So I'm not going to change anything. I'm not going to select that. Up here in the ad name, we can just call this one, I'm going to call it AI generated ad, no captions 1, just kind of like specifics on this one so that when I'm running a bunch of ads, I can kind of just look at the names of them and know which one's performing better and say, all right, maybe no captions was performing better than the captions one as we're A/B testing all of those different variables in the ad. Scrolling down, you can see, do we want a single video or a carousel? You can have up to 35 images. I swear that number keeps getting larger as well. Maybe it was always 35, but I usually just go with the video anyway. So we can go with the video. We can upload the video right now. So I'm just going to click to upload. I'll select my ad right here and I'll say continue. And while that's uploading right there, we can modify the text down here. We can also choose what the call to action is. There are a lot that are available. We can choose 10 of them. So if we scroll down, you can say, read more, interested, visit store, click to buy now. All of these make sense. Some of them might not make sense, or some of them may be even better. So if you have like a software thing or an ebook or music, maybe download would make sense. TikTok's going to test all of these and see which one is actually the top performing one. So right now, I don't really see a need to change these. I think these all make a lot of sense for what the call to action is going to be on the bottom down there. We also have interactive add-ons, so we can either choose from the library or we can create our own. So if I say create, there are a lot of kind of great options right here that are generally fairly pre-built. So I can say, okay, and these are going to be things that maybe are just like a little discount that pops up. Maybe it's going to be just a stronger call to action. So let's go with this one right here. We can say create. And based on this, you'll see it will pop up. So Shopify, my store. Yes, we want that. product tagging. You could choose a specific product that you wanted to link over to. Again, I don't have a product on my store right now, so I can't actually optimize for that. And then we could say homepage right here. So I could say confirm. So looking a bit deeper at these, the card is going to pop up on the bottom. And as you can see, the display card kind of just, tells you a little bit more about it. You have specific product tagging. So if it's a video showing the product tag on the bottom makes it easier, more clickable for somebody to go through that. Kind of a nice little call to action down there. We also have the website info. So you can say right there, someone could just go to your website and buy it. We can have stickers that pop up on screen. So maybe like 15% off could be a good option right there if you want to kind of promote a discount or some type of coupon you have. So let's just say maybe the gift code sticker. If we wanted to add that, we could say save 10% with code. And then here we could say code Mike. We can make the sticker, one of two colors. We can say maybe the darker color is fine. We can also change the size of it or the placement of it rather. So we can move this all the way down. So maybe it's going to be like right there. And we could say confirm. So now we have that little thing popping up. Now, that's not always going to be good for every ad, but I'm just showing generally how you'd go about adding that if you wanted any of those stickers. Not everyone has to add them, but they are interesting, and it's something you can add. Now, the destination, you should go back to your store, and you want to find the link to your product. So you click on products. I currently don't have any products on this little demo store I just made for this video, but generally you'd want to find your product. You just want to, view the product and then copy and paste the link on the top over there. So I'm just going to kind of go to my store right now. So if I go to online store, I can then click on the little eyeball icon there. So view your store right here. I'm going to copy this, but generally, like I said, you'll go to catalog, you'll find your product, you'll copy the link here, and then go back over to TikTok Ads Manager, select all, and just paste it right there. So we can preview that link. I do recommend clicking that just to make sure it links over to the right page, not some error, not some 404 page that, it makes you run your ad a bunch and doesn't have a viable link in there. Definitely something you want to check on. And then down here, this ad does in fact create or contain AI generated content. So I will be selecting that. But if you filmed it yourself, of course, you will not need to select that. And we can authorize the ad to be associated with performance metrics. And of course, we want to make sure we have some text for this ad as well. So for this ad, I'm just going to say, I'll say that right there. And we can also set a custom identity, by the way. So if you wanted to show, your logo and your name and everything instead of just this little megaphone, I'm just going to choose a logo. So I could go down to, if we have a logo, of course, obviously use that one. I'm just going to use, let's just say this image right here. I don't know, some image I have on my laptop here. I'll just go with this image. And we could say Santrel Golf Shop. We'll say create. And that way, that's going to be popping up right over there. So somebody can see that custom identity. Even though it's not an actual account, that's going to be how it's showing up on TikTok. So now that we have that, I can say publish all. And by the way, we don't have to go through this entire process for every single ad. It's very easy to duplicate it and just change one variable at a time. So what we have to do is we have to add a payment method, of course, because we are running an ad. You're going to have to pay to run the ad for whatever your budget is. So I'll enter my card details and I'll hit submit on the very bottom. And then this might take a minute. Maybe you get a pop-up to verify your account or something like that. But generally, it should pop up and say payment method added, creating ad. Again, it'll take a minute for this. And then our ad will be ready to run. So there we go. It says congratulations. Now we can click on back to campaigns. And this will bring us back to our kind of dashboard here with all of our different campaigns. And you can see on the top campaigns, ad groups, and ads. So campaigns, right now, the entire campaign is on. If we don't want to spend any money, if we want to shut off the entire campaign, your kill switch is right here. You click on this little button right here. It toggles it to off. And now this is no longer active. You're no longer spending money on this. It's no longer being run as an ad. If we go over to the ad groups, the same thing can be done right here. You can toggle that off. And then over on ads, again, well, you can toggle this off if you wanted to, but what I really wanted to show you here is you can make copies of this. So if you wanted to just have another ad running identical to this one, but instead maybe change the text on there or the call to action or the landing page, maybe it's linking to a slightly different product page on your site that maybe is the same product, but just looks a little bit different. What we would do is click on copy right here. And we can choose, is this going in the same ad group? Yes. Is it going in the same ad or campaign? Yes. And how many copies do we want? Let's just say we were making 2 more copies. I can then say copy, and those will be populating right there. But first, it's going to actually bring us in and allow us to kind of edit these. You can see on the left side, the first and the second copy right here. So the first copy, first things first, you want to change the name of this one. So I'm going to highlight that. And in this one, just going to be -2. Then down here, if we wanted to change anything, so literally just like this text right here, maybe I'll say like you can, or just say maybe just a subtle difference like that, I'll say publish there. Or actually, I should have edited both and then clicked publish all. But essentially, that's all you need to do. It creates ads right there, and these will be then ready to run. But if you want to go back and change something now, so let's say we want to go and change the ad group. Maybe we want to change who it's targeting, where it's being shown, different things like that. So let's go back to ad group, or you can do the same thing with campaign, of course. And you just click on edit. And then from here, if you wanted to scroll down and change anything, for example, the placements, maybe you wanted to have manual placement instead, maybe you wanted automatic placement, or maybe you wanted to change your budget or anything else like that. That is where you'll go about doing that. So let's close out of this. Let's see. So now we know a lot about how to make campaigns, how to make ad groups, how to make ads, and a lot of these tools are going to be identical across these 3 tabs. If you wanted another campaign, just clicking copy here is going to do the same thing we did with the duplicating of the ad. So I'm going to actually just get out of this, hit back, but that's where you'd go to do that. You can also look on the top. So we have analytics over here. You get some reports. There's a lot of detailed insights as you start to run your ad and start getting some real numbers to see what's working, what's not working, where your money's being spent, what ads are going to cost different amounts, and a lot like that. So I would say that is probably all you need to know for now on how to get started running TikTok ads. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you found at least some tips on how to make better ads, or at the very least, how to set up your TikTok ads manager. If you enjoyed the video, which you watched it this long, so I hope that means you did, please consider subscribing to the channel and leave a comment below with any questions you have or any future video recommendations. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Michael Bryan with Santrel Media, and I'll see you in the next video.